we type 20 into it, it's going to be 9.3 centimeters to save time. So we're running short on time. 9.3 centimeters from Blueville. Good, you guys all got it. So with this, from this we should be able to figure out where the boy is at. He is, what city is he closest to? Woodville. So in this case, he knows he doesn't need to walk the 60 kilometers to Smithville because he only needs to walk the 20 kilometers to Woodville, and it saved him a lot of time. So, how did using these 3 points of information help the lost boy? How did using these 3 points of information help the lost boy? Anybody? He's able to figure out where he was at. If he only had 2 pieces of information, could he be able to tell where he was at?
59%.
Not as well, and you probably you still have to travel a little bit. So how accuracy is this? You know, how well, I mean, did you guys come out, lines meet at the very center, or were they just a little bit off?
Mine were just a little bit off, but I'm not an expert.
But with these 99-cent compasses, they're probably cheaper. They're probably not the accurate, but this will get you to a vicinity area. It's not going to be to the exact point like GPS might be. Now the military, when they came out with this, they made it public in 1980. And it didn't really take off until 1995 until it started hitting stores, but now you find it as OnStar. OnStar is the very same way, except for they're going to help you out. They're going to tell you where you're at and where you got to go, because they're a little more educated in this department. But with these, if we had time, I was going to go outside when we were going to find 3 spots I had located out, but we were running short on time. With these, it would tell you that, like right now, this is at 71 feet accuracy. It's going to give you to the spot where I marked 71 feet. It's not exactly where you want to be. Like with the military, they want to be very precise. That way, if they know they're going to hit a target, if they're going to throw a missile at someone, they want it to hit the target and not be 71 feet off, make sure they get the job done. So that's why they have a little more accuracy, and they probably have what they call an atomic clock with these 24 satellites that are circling the globe. And then that's a little more precise than these, because these don't have an atomic clock on it. They just take a rough estimate and find out the accuracy of air, whereas military probably won't have air with GPS. How did the concept of triliteration relate to GPS? So with these 3 circles that we drew with, when we had Boise, Minneapolis, and Tucson, when we drew these circles, that was called triliteration. I'll write that on the board for you guys. Make sure it's spelled right. Okay, triliteration. How does that relate to GPS? So if you have these 3 circles, remember what I was saying earlier that each one of these would be like a satellite in the Earth. And if we would picture the Earth like here, and this is a point on the Earth, and this is outer space, then we'd figure out right where we're at on Earth. Whereas if we would have a 4th satellite out over here that we could see, we could actually calculate how high we are, because now this 4th satellite is going to give us one more piece of information, and then we can figure out our altitude. Another question for you guys. How could GPS be used in our daily lives? How could you use this every day? Chris, I know you're a sportsman.
Planning a trip, going fishing.
Planning a trip, you know, if you're going to be hiking. The nice thing about this is when you're hiking, you can create marker points, and that way you can find your marker points on the way back. If you're just going to go hiking and you don't want to really pay attention to where you're going, you just want to absorb nature, you can mark a point, and then when you're coming back, you can follow the exact path you took, and it's going to tell you which way to go, how many feet you got left. That's pretty nice. What has the application of GPS that you would like to see develop? Like recently you've been seeing it in cars, but where else could it be used besides the military? And Chris was saying it a lot of personal use. If we think agriculture, farmers are not using GPS, and they have it down to the pinpoint where if they're in a field, I don't know if I can draw this, probably not. If they're in a field, they can figure out, you know, on top of the hill that they need more nitrogen up there. And they'll have this little robot. The guy will sit in his car off the road, and they'll have this little robot put nitrogen in the field in the exact spot it needs it. Instead of putting it all over the field and hurting other parts of the field that it might have too much nitrogen, farmers now can have that pinpoint accuracy on where to put the nitrogen. So it's pretty amazing what GPS has done for us. So to bring it all to a close, we can use GPS when we're camping or hiking. Maybe if we're even taking a trip, we can follow exactly our path and tell you the miles and distance you traveled, the speed you're traveling, how fast you're going, your average speed, and it can tell you how high you've actually climbed too if you're going in the mountains. It's a pretty fun piece of technology. With GPS, we can also find like where you're traveling on vacations too. So with this, what I want you guys to do before you guys come back for next class period, I want each student to Google an article where GPS has been used. And just write a short little paragraph. It shouldn't take longer than 10 minutes because just do, you know, after you found your research that you want to use, then just write a short little paragraph, and we'll share that next time we're in class, and we'll continue on with GPS, and we'll actually go outside and navigate where we're going to go.